Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today, I am going to be doing a couple things, and this is in celebration of reaching 1,000 subscribers. And just thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. I just cannot even express how much this community of BookTube and all the people that I have encountered here has meant to me. It has just really been a blessing, and I asked for some questions and answers, and then it kind of corresponds with a tag that Susan from Road Reads tagged me in, that Shannon at Shannon's Bookish Musings and Music created, and I will leave the links to those below. So I'm going to start with those questions because I think they flow really well into the other questions that were asked. So this is a different video than I normally do because I'm not talking a whole lot about books, but hopefully you might learn something new that interests you. Number one question says, do your friends, family, and coworkers know that you have a BookTube channel? And if so, do they watch? So I don't go out of my way to tell people that I have a channel, but if it comes up in passing or we happen to be talking about a book, a lot of times I will absolutely tell them that I have a BookTube channel, or actually this is something I do on a regular basis, and bring it up that way. And I would say 90% of the time they don't ask what it is or want to watch, and that's fine. I am not offended at all. That's cool. But a few times people will, and there are a handful of people from my real life, like people in front of me, that watch, and then it's really kind of fun later because they'll say, oh yeah, I was watching your video and I think this, or I didn't want to mention this, but so I love that. I love that. However, it makes people happy. Number two, when watching BookTube videos, do you ever speed them up to save time? So I don't watch it accelerated speed, but if I have somebody that I'm watching that I love watching, but they are talking about a series of books, and there's a book, for instance, like a horror novel, and I know that I will never read that horror book, and I'm trying to catch up on videos or spend time with lots of my BookTube friends, I will slide the slide bar over that one until I see them hold up the next book, which is what I always encourage my viewers to do. I try to hold up the book and hold up that book the entire time I'm talking about it or referencing it. That way, if you have zero interest in that particular book, then slide on by. Our time is valuable. We want to do what what fills us. Do you watch videos from all the booktubers you subscribe to? All the videos or just some? So I watch, I think, a couple dozen booktubers on a regular basis, like almost every video they put out. And then there's probably up to 100 people that I am subscribed to. And I try to watch one of their videos every, not even probably every week, but at least once a month. I will check in with them, watch a video, comment on it, just to keep in that realm, keep in that space, follow what they're doing and support them. And then, there's several that I just watch and don't really follow necessarily because it just gets to be too much. So and I don't expect people to be watching every single video I make. Again, we just find the things that are important, but I love that connection and I love that personality. And a lot of times I'll watch a video that isn't necessarily something I'm particularly interested in the topic, but I want to spend some time with that person. So both. Do you watch and subscribe to everyone who subscribes to you, or only channels that you really want to see? I definitely don't just subscribe back to people who subscribe to me, but I try very hard and very intentionally to check them out and see if there's a connection that I want to build. Because again, I feel like there's only so much time I can really develop and dive into other channels fully, but I do my best, and it's like reality, right? We just cultivate the friendships that connect with us, but you love on everybody. You try to love on everybody. So I try. Do you watch and subscribe to booktubers based on content or personality? And that's, like everybody else has been saying, really a combination of both, right? You need it to have something that you connect on, but the ones that you really come back, or that I watch over and over again, it's because I really enjoy what they have to say as a person. Do you listen to booktuber videos while doing other things, or do you sit and watch the video? And again, both. When I'm putting on my makeup, when I'm folding my laundry, when I'm doing all my household chores, I almost always have a booktube video going and I'm listening. And sometimes I have to go back and scroll and look at what they're showing. And then there are certain videos where they're actually talking about certain reviews that I want to see what they're showing, particularly the vlog ones, right? The ones where they're kind of out and about and it's like, oh, I really want to see that little free library. I really want to see that. But if they're sitting talking about the books, I'll even be driving sometimes. I'll put on my phone and put it down in the cup holder so I can hear it. And I will, finish listening to the reviews as I'm driving, because trust me, in rush hour, I'm only going like 20, 30 miles an hour. So I got plenty of time to concentrate on both driving and listening. And then tag some people. So I am going to tag Well Traveled Books and Red Dot Reads and Your True Shelf. These are great channels. I will leave their mentions in the descriptions if you want to click on them and search out some new channels. I am going into the questions that you asked for me. I actually had 3 people that asked a variation of the same question. So Joel and Hannah, Reading at Tatiana, and Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl all asked a variation of what has surprised you the most about being on BookTube. And Jolene's, I think, was what have you learned? And so the surprising thing was just how quickly the community formed. I actually have another BookTube, or not another BookTube, excuse me, another channel on YouTube that I have had way longer than the book channel, that's just kind of fashion and unboxings and life blogs and random other stuff that doesn't really fit with the book world. And that channel, I have super close friends and have good community, so I knew about the community. But book channel was like so fast. Like it took many months to really develop the close friendships on the other channel. And then this one was like, people are just, there's something about books and opening up our minds and our hearts to books that I think also binds us quickly to other people that are doing that. That's what I learned. And yeah, and the other thing that I've learned specifically from BookTube is that I actually have a deeper interest and passion for fantasy books than I really realized when I started. I would have told you, oh, I'm not a fantasy girl, but I kind of am. I thought, I love the classics and nonfiction. Classics and nonfiction, that is not fantasy. But somehow I've really gotten into the jam of that and really appreciated that and really appreciate the strong presence of that on BookTube. So thank you for that question. Jolene also wanted to know an author that I've never read but want to. So keeping with that fantasy, I really want to read Robin Hobb. That is near the top of my list. Definitely the next author that I want to intentionally seek out. And I found a couple books at a recent haul, so that'll be coming up soon. So we'll hopefully get to that soon. And then Reading at Tatiana also had asked, what is your favorite non-book related activity? So my favorite non-book related activity, I don't know that it's easy just to say one word about it, but it's that getting to travel, but it's going to places to really discover something, to see something, kind of sightseeing or tourism maybe is the word. It's like going, but it doesn't have to be like a museum, although museums are fantastic, but like even a historical marker. Like I love when I have time to pull over and just learn about some new place or see something that I've never seen before. I am just, that's my favorite non-book related thing. We're gonna go with that. Gemma from Gemma Books asked, who are your favorite fantasy authors besides Brandon Sanderson? Because we just read a Brandon Sanderson and that was her first. So I also really am totally loving Robert Jordan, his Wheel of Time, and of course Tolkien. I have to say Tolkien. Tolkien has been one of my first loves of fantasy and favorite classic authors of all time. So he's the granddaddy, grandfather, just mwah, awesomeness. Favorite places that I've ever traveled to. So I'm going to kind of do this in two parts. My favorite place that I actually had experiences overseas was India. I took a mission trip over there, and it was just super sacred, super special. Just the things that were encountered and the lessons learned and the relationships developed. And it was just so my favorite mission trip. Staying in an orphanage, had a wild monkey come into our campus and cause havoc. Just such fun, unusual adventures. That was just so special, and just always treasure that. Also, I spent a summer on a retreat, a ranch with several college students doing theater. That is just a really sacred place that every time I can actually get back there, I relive that and re-enter that. And then if you're talking about tourism and you're looking for someplace really awesome to actually go vacation, my favorite place that I actually went was when I took my two boys to Niagara Falls. I just thought that was so great. There's a great aquarium, there's great restaurants, there's great little museums. It's lots of walking and paths and butterfly gardens, and you can go and explore the falls on the Canadian side as well as the American side, and have different experiences and adventures. And I just thought that was the greatest. So, but that again, remember what I really like to do besides books. So it's that kind of place. I just thought it was great. So thank you for that question. And then Gemma asked, what are popular books that I have read that I didn't like unpopular opinions. So off the top of my head, the first ones I thought of is Where the Crawdads Sing. I just thought it was kind of meh, and no interest in really even seeing the movie. Under the Whispering Door was really controversial. I think I lost some subscribers for that opinion, but it just wasn't on the feels level for me. And then the other one that was really hard to not like was Gentlemen in Moscow, because it's already elevated to instant classic, and I'm all about trying another of Mortals, but that book wasn't it for me. And these are embarrassing. Why do you ask me that? Thanks a lot, Jim. Yes. Jamie, one of my very good supporters who has been with me from the very beginning, asked, how have you seen your reading habits evolve as an adult? Which is a great question. I read so much more. I read so much more all the time. The more I read, the more I want to read. It's like each thing makes me interested in reading 3 other things, and it just blossoms and exponentially explodes. And I love reading. And then Bandy's books asks, what was the most difficult part of the process of getting to 1,000 subs? So I think the most difficult part about building my channel has been not taking it personally when there's large drop-offs of the subs. I have no problem with just having, a dozen a month even, add to my subscribers. It's I'm in it just to build community in an organic, realistic, I can still comment kind of way. It's not my intention to be mega or, any of those kind of things, just to put it out there who I am and what I'm doing. But when you have a video that you think is important, and then a bunch of people unsubscribe, and you're like, okay, that was an unpopular opinion, but I have to be real, right? And it's interesting because I really thought that when I put out the video of the top 10 nonfiction books of all times, the ones that really touched my heart and changed my life, that I was going to be controversial and people were going to be dropping like crazy. And I actually ended up gaining 40 or 50 new subs from that video that I thought that I was braced to lose. So you just don't know. And I think really we just have to continue to just put it out there and be genuine. And there are things you can do if you're intentionally wanting to build, you're intentionally wanting to, make this a even profitable kind of venture. There's all kinds of videos out there helping you do that. I just love the people that I have, and I'm thankful, and this is what the video's about. Erica said, what is your why? Why do you choose to read, and why do you choose the books that you do? So I choose why to read for three main things. One is because I want a break in an adventure and something lighthearted and fun, like a vacation or a light read or a palate cleanser, or I'm looking to de-stress. Like, it is literally like if I don't read for a long time, I can feel more anxious and more, I mean, it's an outlet, right? Reading becomes my outlet. And then the last reason is to learn. I really, that's one of the ways that I learn best, is to actually engage with words on the page, see the pictures in the book, interact with it in that way. That's just kind of my learning style. So that's kind of why I read, what I get out of it, and then I choose the books that will fulfill those things, help me escape, help me either enjoy it. And escape could be something dark and disturbing even. It doesn't have to be lighthearted and fun. It could be just escape into something creepy, like the Stephen King book I'm reading now. The Grape Jelly Library said, what is your favorite book hands down? And if not for books, what would your passion be? And this is another one of those questions that, if I'm really honest, kind of borders on, I'm not sure how all my subscribers feel about this. And I respect when, you know, anybody else may have a different opinion, but the book that is hands down the best book to me is the Bible, because it has changed my life and continues to shape my life. It's the book that I pick up over and over and over again. And, you know, you have to admit, even if you're a non-believer, that it has had great influence and impact in this world. And so it's a book that we, you know, need to give some respect or accolade to for that. So I just love it. And that goes in with my passion, right? Faith is my passion, and I believe in God and his love and creation for us and presence in our reality, and making that relevant to my own life and to others' life. And that's what brings me meaning and joy. So that's what it is. I don't always directly share that, but here it is, because you asked. Maria said, what is one book that you recommend to the most friends and family? So we'll take it back down and say, if I'm just looking for a more universal book that I think many, many people love, one of my most surprising finds ever was a Dollar Tree book. It was called 2 by 2. I'll try to put a picture up here. 2 by 2 by Bartholomew Rafi. And this is a book that is about McSorley's in New York. It goes on the history of this restaurant that is one of the oldest running bars in New York City. They serve things 2 by 2. You can either get 2 light beers or 2 dark beers. They don't serve them individually. That's their kind of, you know, gimmick or whatever. It's kind of Irish pub. So St. Patrick's Day, what is it like on the Super Bowl? What was it like during 9/11? It doesn't go all the way. The book was published before COVID and before the shutdown, so that's not included. But the history of even World War II, famous people that came into the bar. You've got history of New York. You've got really great stories that happen within the bar. And then the gentleman who's telling it as a memoir, this is a nonfiction book, by the way, because it's his memoir, and he's talking about his family. So there's talking about his dad, talking about his grandfather, talking about his mother, talking about passing on the stories. And I just think, you know, my name is Enter the Book here. I just love this concept of storytelling, sharing our stories, sharing, you know, life together. And I think that's really, to me, the essence of meaning, the essence of just fullness of life. And I think that's why Booktube works and why it goes back to that original Booktube community becoming so close so fast, is because we do share our stories, other people's stories, our thoughts on that. And that's just a really sacred place. So that is what I'm having to say about that, with a huge thank you. Thank you for being part of this community, for stopping by. You can leave me a comment and respond to anything that may be, hey, I do this too, or that reminds me of this story. Or if you have another question from these questions, I'll do my best to try to answer it, at least in the comments, if not in a future video. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. Take care. Thank you.